Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix? Bob here. Hey guys, thanks for joining me on this morning talk. I hope all is well with you and yours. Hey guys, yesterday I dropped a part 1 video about NPCs. And are some people NPCs? So it was we started out kind of going down an in-depth talk into that subject. And for any of you that doesn't know what an NPC is, or you've heard the term but you don't know what it means, it just stands for non-player character or non-playable character. And it's basically a term that comes from video games, kind of games like like Skyrim and stuff. I guess you could say Grand Theft Auto, games like that are kind of open sandbox games, and you have a world that's populated with computer players or AI players that are there to sometimes give you quests. Sometimes they're just background characters, to populate the world, to make it, more immersive. Sometimes they can be companions on quests and yada, yada, yada. On Skyrim, you can even have a wife on that game. She kind of stays behind and takes care of your house and stuff. And they can do different stuff. I know, depending on the wife you pick. I know I love Skyrim. It's one of my favorite games. It's a beautiful game. It's a nice little temporary escape from this Matrix sometimes. But I think the wife I have on that game, her special thing is that she's a merchant. So it's kind of nice. Every now and then you go home and she has made a bunch of gold for the household, that you can collect from her. Because she's a merchant. When you're not around, she's out selling stuff. So anyways, it makes the game immersive, right? It populates the world. And and the NPCs are there to line up quests for the main character. To sometimes as companions to go into the dungeons with, explore with. Anyways, it's the point I'm trying to get at here is that as we start really examining our society, and as we continue to delve down this understanding of quantum physics and the fact that this realm is some type of simulation. We can argue over what type of simulation it is, but it is a type of simulation. It is what we consider reality is a picture that is, or an experience that's created for us by electrical signals sent to the brain by our various senses. It's data that's decoded, and then it creates the experience that we call human life, right? Our human experience here. However, everything we consider, physical reality and such, is all essentially just energy particles. They don't even touch. Physical reality is an illusion. Everything in this realm is a grand illusion. It's like a insane dream, lucid dream. Have you ever been in a dream and you become self-aware in the dream that you're in a dream, but yet you know that you're having a dream? And wow, that changes the perspective in that dream, right? I don't know how many of you have had lucid dreams like that, but it's powerful, because once you're in the dream and you realize it's a dream, now you have no controls on you in the dream. You can literally do anything. I know I've had a few dreams like that where I realize that I'm in a dream, and that basically there's no rules at that point, because in that lucid dream you become an instant manifester. You can do anything in the dream. So a lot of times what I'll do is I like to fly in dreams. The sensation of flying is amazing. And even though I can't fly in this reality, it's weird when you're in a dream and you fly. It feels like the real sensation you would imagine that flying feels like. Now, how would you know how that feels like? It's kind of like, okay, this is weird, guys. Just hang tight with me here. I'm just trying to, delve into the understanding of what we're talking about here. Delving into the ideal of this whole thing, this talk. I remember before, when I was young, young boy, you have those certain type of dreams sometimes about girls, right? And, let's just say hitting home plate, if you get my meaning, because I'm trying to keep this PG-13, folks, okay? I am. I'm trying my best not to get in trouble with YouTube here. But let's say, in the dream, you hit home plate, But let's say this is before you ever did in real life. But in the dream, it feels real. And then the first time you actually have it, you realize, like, wow, I remember those dreams I had when I was younger or before that, and it actually felt similar. So how would you know, what it feels like? I mean, before it happened, right? But that's kind of how it is in a lucid dream when you wake up and you fly. So, and not only that, when you have a lucid dream, it changes the whole, it becomes way more immersive and way more real. I notice when you become self-aware and wake up in a dream and it becomes a lucid dream, it's like everything gets sharper, everything becomes more real-like. It's odd how it works, right? So, the old nursery rhyme, merrily, merrily, life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. See, folks, that's an ancient, that's an old, not ancient, but let's just say that's like medieval ages, like nursery rhyme. And I know a lot of those nursery rhymes from the Middle Ages are like, they have dark meanings to them, right? But I think that song was hitting on the understanding that this is an illusion, that we're experiencing a type of lucid dream, like a thought form created reality. Just some things to chew on, folks, as we have this conversation. I'm trying to get you to think outside the box here a little bit, to kind of think in ways that maybe you normally wouldn't think. But the biggest understanding I want you to see here is that that this reality that we think is real is not. It's a type of simulation. It's an intelligently designed simulation, and our spirits use this human body to immerse ourselves into this realm, into this lower dimension. And this realm is a shadow of the higher realm of heaven, because this realm is a realm of duality, of light and dark, of positive and negative. In the higher dimensions, folks, it's all positive, high vibration. You can't have the darkness, the evil, the negativity in the higher realms, because the vibration is so high. Well, that high vibratory level dimension is where our spirit comes from. So to experience this realm, it's got to delve deep into physical quote unquote material, let's just say material matter, right? And The rough thing about coming to this realm is because we are light beings from a higher dimension, is that when we do come to this lower dimension, it's hard. It's very hard because we're not used to the duality, to the negative, to the darkness, to the massive polarity in this realm. But this realm allows us to experience something different than we could possibly experience in the higher realms. But there is one thing that sometimes makes me even question a little bit if the higher realms can have a darkness or a duality to them too, is that it is interesting to know, folks, and I know I'm even contradicting myself a little bit here, but I want to try to cover as many bases as we can and be honest as I can. A lot of, especially, it's mostly your people from heavy religious indoctrination. Sometimes they do experience a hellscape when they leave this realm, when they go out of body. You know, and of course, a lot of Christians, you know, they say this is proof that there really is a hell, right? But I've explained many times, folks, how this hell is one that they created because they were expecting to experience hell because they've been indoctrinated their whole life into it. And they were probably told, you know, if you sin, you're going to hell. If you don't pray enough or you don't go to church, you're going to hell. If you don't ask forgiveness at the right time after you sin, you're going to hell. Like right as you commit that last sin on earth, if you don't ask forgiveness right at that moment, you know, you're going to hell, right? I mean, I know it's ridiculous, folks, but there are people that literally believe this stuff. So they experience that hellscape when they pass out of the body. But then something a lot of these, I've noticed these Christian-based NDE YouTube channels that they always leave out of the conversation, or they quickly gloss over it, is the fact that all the person has to do is will themselves out of that experience and they pop out of it, or an angel will come pull them out of it, you know, or you know what I mean? Like, and then boom, they're out of it. And then they're like, oh wow, you know, it was, and it's funny because those Christians that experience that, they even will say in NDE accounts like, yeah, I realize now that I created that hell because I expected to experience hell. And so when I crossed over, I experienced hell. Because folks, when you're out of the body, you have instant manifestation powers. You are a co-creator with Source. You are a God child, a godling. I've heard the term used recently. But people aren't ready for that, because if they've never learned what we truly are, then when they pop out of the body, it's, you know, there's a little bit of a process you go through to cleanse yourself. Now, one thing that will kind of reel this back in is that I think they experience that in the void, the so-called waiting room in between dimensions. So maybe that has to be dealt with before you move on back to our home. Maybe you have to shed all that darkness, and maybe sometimes that void, that blackness in between heaven and earth, or this dimension and the higher dimensions, maybe you have to deal with that before you move on. And that could explain like how after people get pulled out of that hellscape situation, then all of a sudden they go to the light and then they move on, right? Because they were carrying that like baggage, like a burden on their spirit. And an interesting theme that comes up too is that people talk about there's like a 3-day cleansing period before you're allowed into the higher dimension, to kind of cleanse all of the negative, all of the duality and all of the stuff that you kind of like collected while you were here that you thought was real and truth, but you can't bring that with you to the higher dimension. So I hope that kind of makes sense, folks, because I know I contradicted myself a little bit, but I had to cover that base because some people are going to say, well, I've watched NDEs where they experienced hell. See, it is real. And see, maybe there is darkness outside of this realm. Now, what I'm trying to say is that maybe in that in-between waiting room area, and maybe they needed to get that cleared off their spirit before they could move on. I've talked to people before that are mediums and stuff, and they've explained that the reason why there's apparitions here on Earth or residual energy here, like, you know, like a haunting where it just keeps replaying the same thing over and over, like a certain time of night, there's a spirit that goes down a hallway, and it just every night it's repeated, or, you know, or occasionally a few times a month. And what they've explained to me is that, yeah, that's because when somebody leaves this realm, they shed that shade, that dark side of themselves that we all have, folks. Look, when we take on a human body and we come into this world of duality, we take on a shadow self, a dark self, because we're in a body that is beholden to the rules of the game here, that is in a world of duality. So everybody has darkness in them. It doesn't matter if, you know, well, I wouldn't say the Pope's a good example, but let's just say, okay, even the Pope has a dark side, right? We all struggle with our dark side. That's a part that we carry or we experience when we're in this realm. But when we move to the higher dimensions, that self, that dark side, that shadow self isn't allowed to move on. Anyways, folks, I know it seems like I'm straying a little bit from the main topic here, but I'm not, because all this stuff ties together. If you can kind of pull that back and see what we're talking about here, you can see how this is all connected. I'm just trying to cover all the bases here. But anyways, point is, this is a type of simulation. Okay? And it's a simulation that allows spirits from a higher dimension to inhabit a human avatar, to immerse itself in this realm. But the rough thing is that you have to take on this avatar, and you have to take on its limitations. It limits your abilities in this realm. You get the mind wipe, because you wouldn't learn anything here if you came with the full knowledge of the universe. All of us would be super geniuses / Yeshua / Buddhas if we all, you know, brought all that knowledge with us. Now, some people have little cracks into the higher dimensions, our abilities that we naturally have. There are some people, like psychics and mediums, that are born with that ability, you know, to see past the veil, to see spirits, to see supernatural things. And they say children up until a certain age, like I've heard it's anywhere from like 5 to 8 years old. That's when children typically start losing those abilities, and that sixth sense starts shutting down because of programming that we go in this realm. See, the day you're born, folks, you start getting programmed. You're programmed by your parents, by what they were programmed by their parents, and so on. You get programmed when you start going to school. You get programmed by all of the governmental institutions in each country that you're born in. You get programmed by the religion that your family follows. That's maybe the main religion in your country you're born in. You get programmed by the environment you're in, by the media that you have access to, by the relationships with other people that you have, by the experiences you have. Like, folks, we are always being programmed, okay? So, what is an NPC in a game? It's a programmed character that does what it's programmed to do. Now, there is probably going to be a time here soon with the massive advancements in AI where video games may have AI characters in the games that have freedom or have some kind of a larger algorithm or large what do you call it, language model, you know, where it might not be all the NPCs in a game, but there may be certain ones that are have a lot more freedom of abilities and interactiveness, you know, that'll make it seem more like a real human and how they act and react and stuff in the game. So we are going to be seeing that with games where NPCs in games are going to be a lot more human-like, you know. However, it's still a large language model is still just a type of you know, algorithm based on data and stuff. So anyways, but you get my meaning here, right? Are you guys starting to see the picture I'm painting here? That human beings can be programmed. We can be programmed because we come into this realm in ignorance, forgetting who and what we are. So this realm it's hell-bent on, no pun intended, on programming us a certain way. If you're in a totalitarian government system, every day you're going to be programmed to not be a free thinker, to act as a programmed citizen and only do and say what the government wants you to do. You see this in that country, you know, with the big C, you know, the big C country. And the reason I'm not saying it, folks, is because let's just say our tech companies are in bed with that country. And the big tech companies don't like you talking about that country. You know, there's 2 countries on earth that you get censored for talking about. Yeah. One of them's tied to the whole brainwashing, propagandizing, programming system of religion. And the other one happens to be a country that tries its hardest to absolutely program its citizens to be like a hive mind, right? A collectivist hive mind. That's the amazing thing about true freedom, folks, is it allows for it allows for more of a chance of thinking outside the box, of being a free thinker. But governments don't like free thinkers because free thinkers oftentimes become rebels and such, because when you can think for yourself, you know, when you can smell bullshit, you can call it out, right? But when you're under a totalitarian government, you can see the bullshit all day, but you just expect it to be that way and you're programmed to accept it for what it is. So, anyways, wow. Folks, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on up here. I'm just getting into the little town I work in, and there's like cops blocking the road here. I don't see it. I need to get past here. I'm not sure what's going on. It's kind of weird. Dang. Really? 2 people wrecked? How do you wreck at 5 in the morning? Wow. That's crazy. How do you wreck at 5 in the morning when there's no cars on the road in a little town? Wow. They must have broke out of their programming, huh? Anyways. So, what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is, look, human beings can be programmed, just like a large language model, just like AI. So now the big question is, can those humans, or does that mean that all humans are actually spirit humans? Or are there like filler people in this realm that are actually programs of the Matrix that populate this realm, so that just like in a video game, essentially they line up certain things in our lives, like almost like the quest givers in a video game. It's interesting to note, folks, that when people, a lot of people that have pre-bursts or that go through NDE, they talk about how we sign like a soul contract before we incarnate on Earth, that we set up certain like goalposts in our experience that we want to have, like maybe certain breakups or experiences, it could be good or bad, you know, that is meant for the spirit to learn from. And maybe there's programmed people in this realm that seem like real human beings, but they're here and they're designed so that they show up in certain parts in your life that trigger these goalposts being met, you know, like these experiences being met, and so that they happen at certain times in your life. And then it's like they come and go. Maybe it's a relationship you have that it ends quickly, but maybe that relationship causes certain events to happen, you know, that wouldn't have happened if you didn't meet that person. Or it could be folks that like, look, it's just that we all get programmed, and some people can break out of the box. They have a strong enough will, you know, a strong enough spirit, a strong enough mind to see outside of the box. Whereas some people, once they're programmed, it's like they get locked in the box, the black cube, right? Oh yes, the black cube of Saturn ties into all this, trust me. Yes, so some people may just never become self-aware here. They just operate as a human being. They are a human being and they are a spirit, but they're just so programmed that, you know, they're a ghost within the machine, but the machine controls them. And they can't think outside of the machine. So, I don't know. It's interesting, folks. Man, I'm going to have to do a part 3 tomorrow because I feel like we didn't get a touch on everything I still want to touch on here. But it's an interesting talk, right, folks? I mean, really, when you think about all this stuff, it is really, really interesting. I mean, this is big girl, big boy conversation here, folks. This is the type of conversation that most people in your daily life couldn't even comprehend, wouldn't even think about, because most people are asleep. Most people are very programmed, right? And this is stuff to ponder. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, you know, on this whole subject. Are there actual NPCs in this realm, like non-player characters that like maybe are even soulless humans, you know, that are just part of the matrix here, that give the illusion that, you know, it's a vastly populated world and that they fill spaces, you know, that they're, you know, not really completely self-aware spirits here. You know, or is it just that they are spirits here, experiencing this, but they just can't wake up because of all the programming they've been through? I mean, look at these people that still trust governments. Look at these people that still trust mainstream organized religion, you know? I mean, look at all the people fighting over religion. Look at all the people fighting over territories and resources. Just like in a video game, right? Most of your video games, folks, are based on collecting resources and collecting items, right? We all love those games, right? It's like we come to Earth and we collect shit, but then we play video games and we collect shit. You know? Hey, look, I'm guilty of it. I there's games like that game Skyrim I was talking about. What do you collect in that? You collect gold so you can upgrade your armor and stuff. You go into dungeons so you can collect like special loot, special weapons, and you know, and it's like you go around the game and all you're doing is just collecting stuff, you know? And so, I mean, don't we do that in the real world? I mean, look at how many people are just obsessed with like materialism. I mean, geez, man, trust me. Look at most Americans. I mean, are obsessed with Amazon and, I mean, just shopping. I mean, shop. You look at some people's houses. I mean, look, folks, I'm not saying there's anything anything wrong with material things. Like, look, but some people get obsessed with material things. Me, I'm a little more of a minimalist, a little more frugal. I mean, I can do without fancy things. When I was younger, trust me, I had like when I was in high school, I had like a 96 Mitsubishi Eclipse, beautiful white car. I loved it. Too fast for a teenager, by the way. Um, I had a big old sound system, 12-inch subwoofers. I mean, you could hear, I could pull up to my house, rattle my parents' house, and they'd get all pissed off, you know what I mean? Um, you know, nice. I had fancy clothes, and just wanted the best of everything, wanted all these fancy things. So, I thought it'd help me get girls and stuff, and it oftentimes did because women are materialistic too. Oh, yes, they are. Uh, Many women are very materialistic, and I'm not putting down women. I'm just saying, let's be honest. It's true, right? Jewelry, clothing, all these trappings, that everybody wants, we get so caught up in this world, but isn't it like a lot of these sandbox games? You just go around collecting money and upgrading your armor, which is like your clothing in this realm. You want nicer clothes, and you want these designer duds, and look how many people are obsessed with these brands, these what's one of these stupid brands of clothing, Gucci or something, Gucci. Oh, gotta get those Gucci pants. They're like $800 pair of Gucci jeans. Gotta get that Italian suit. That's like $20,000, I gotta, wear this, ring on my finger, I'm not gonna marry that guy unless he gets me like a 5-carat diamond ring, Needs to be like $100,000 ring he's in debt for the rest of his life to pay for. It's crazy when you really think about this realm. People operate like it's a video game. Or is it that we're creating video games that operate similar to how humans do in this realm? I don't know. But are you getting my point here, folks? I'm trying to paint the picture that, like, look, this realm isn't everything we think it is, or at least most people think it is, and that most people operate like NPCs in a video game. They just are totally programmed. Like I said earlier, there's literally people that actually believe the government is good. They trust the government. They believe media's telling them the truth. They believe religion's telling them the truth. That's crazy. Oh, and trust the science. Don't forget that. If a guy in a white lab coat that went through programming and extra programming in a university, he's an absolutely programmed entity, tells you to put something in your body because he has a white coat on, you're going to do it, right? He's an authority figure. They've actually done studies where all somebody has to do is put on like a white lab coat with a doctor insignia on him, or wear a suit with like a government lapel or something, and they tell people to do shit and they'll do it. And it's just some random dude that put on a suit because people are programmed to respect authority, right? To obey authority. What does authority mean? Author. Author of the story, right? Author. Have you guys ever thought about the word magic embedded in this realm too? Jordan Maxwell's, oh my God, Jordan Maxwell is a rabbit hole of research to go down. Yeah, look at the word authority, author. Author. Whose story are you obeying or following, right? What authority figure do you trust and obey? Or is it the authority figure that wears a big fish cap on his head like a bishop, like a Catholic bishop? Or a pope with his big old fancy golden crown on his head, or a king with a gold crown on his head and jewels and stuff? See what I mean, folks? We come from a realm where we're all equally powerful beings. We are the Elohim, folks. We are the Anuna. I've come to realize that after extensive research and my own meditating on the subject and everything. I'm starting to see that we are the Elohim, that we created this realm. And some of us just decided to set themselves up as gods here. Just like people need to be popes and tell other people what to think, or pastors, or teachers, or government officials, or lawyers, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or doctors. Some of us come to this realm and we want to tell other people what to think and do. Some don't. Some are just obeying and doing what they're told. But everybody is under a certain kind of programming, including me. Look, folks, we all get programmed, okay? Though the few of us that see through the matrix are very rare. Like, look, I guarantee you, folks, what we're talking about right now, go to a family gathering and start talking about this, and you'll get shunned and shut up quicker than you can imagine. If you work with a bunch of coworkers, you talk about this subject we're talking about, you're gonna get laughed at. You know, they're gonna make fun of you behind your back, maybe to your face. They're all gonna laugh. They're gonna start turning on you too. They'll start saying you're crazy, you're insane. Look at this idiot. What's he talking about? I ain't no NPC programmed character. Look at me. And then the boss is like, "Hey, get back to work over there, you human resource." "Yes, sir." And they get back to work real quick. Like, yeah, as they're making fun of you as we're being crazy and loony and whatever, right? And questioning things, right? Yes, human resource, get back to work, right? See what I'm getting at here, folks? I mean, there's a reason why religions and your work, they all, they devalue you. They debase you, calling you a sheep, "Oh, you got to be a sheep for God. Wait, let the sheep herder come lead you around." Oh, there's a certain book that starts with a T and ends with a D, the Judeans, where it calls everybody cattle, right? Like we're all animals, except them. Yeah, the inbred. I mean, did I say inbred? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Yeah. But, your church calls you a sheep. Your work calls you a human resource. Your government thinks that you're just a taxpayer. They just farm energy off of you, farm your wealth off of you. We're seeing with Doge, wow, how utterly corrupt both parties are, Republicans, Democrats here in the U.S., and it's the same for every country. Like, look, psychopaths like to rise to the top of power and have power over others, and that's what you see with most government officials. So, anyways, guys, hey, let's pick this up. Actually, I'm off tomorrow, and I'm going to do some garnet hunting, and I've got some other things that I have to deal with tomorrow, so I'm probably not actually going to do a video tomorrow. However, this is Tuesday here. I'll get this video uploaded. We'll pick up with part 3 on Thursday morning again, okay, folks? And hopefully Thursday or Friday I'll have that video uploaded. Lately, YouTube's been a lot better to me. I've been getting videos just to upload within like 35 minutes. So, for some reason, they're leaving me alone. It's amazing. I haven't even had one video pulled. I've had trouble uploading videos, but all my videos have been getting monetized. But right now, folks, without me being able to move people over from Facebook to my videos to view them, they are sort of shadow banning me on YouTube. I will say that. They're like, I'm only getting like maybe 30, 40 views per video. And look, I know these are subjects most people don't even want to touch or think about, okay? I usually, half the comments are usually, just spouting like Bible verses at me and stuff, as if that actually matters to me. I mean, when you the Bible's written by men, not by the source of all creation, who gives a fuck what freaking verse you're throwing in my face? I mean, these people act like they're throwing holy water on you or something by telling you some Old Testament verse or something, like, "Oh, good job. So go read some of the other verses where it talks about the dismissal of people and everything." No, you're not going to do that, because then all of a sudden that puts now all of a sudden that God looks like a bad guy, right? You're trying to put him in a good light, "Oh, my Lord will save me. He'll be my shield and protector." And then there's another verse where he's like, "Go into that village, kill every man, woman, and child. Take the girls as concubines. I mean, bring me the fat and the gold. Yeah, as if God needs all that stuff, right? I mean, yeah. So you don't ever see those people putting those verses in their arguments. It's like they go to these apologist websites and then they screenshot or they save all of these verses so that every time an argument comes up, they can just post this whole thing. They're not the ones doing that. They're just copying and pasting, man. These people, they don't think for themselves. I mean, come on. Just like the people on the left, they don't think for themselves. They do whatever the government tells them to do. If it's a leftist government, that is, right? If it's somebody from the right in power, they become all fanatical, and then they're programmed to start tearing down cities and and doing all kinds of mayhem, right? I mean, these people can't even control themselves. I mean, a lot of them are just programmed by their emotions alone. You program them, you control their emotions, you control them, like little robots, like little marionettes. Cry, blue hair, cry, go burn a city down. Okay, I will do it. I will destroy Teslas. I will burn cities down. All for Maxine Waters. You know. God, man, these. Anyways, folks, I'm so sick of people on the far right and the far left. It's just, I get so tired of them, man. I mean, these people are just programmed individuals, NPCs at the finest. Either their religion or their political views absolutely program them. It's crazy. And that's why in the powers that be, they understand how to divide and conquer because of that. And they know how to easily manipulate people on both ends of the spectrum. So, anyways, folks, hey, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you're interested in doing a one-on-one Zoom with me, my time for your donation, we can talk about whatever you'd like, and we can connect and, network through that too. I keep in touch with a lot of the people that I've done these with, which unfortunately I got cut off some of them because we only were, staying in contact through Messenger on my Exit the Matrix, and now they haven't found me where I'm at. Some of them I don't understand because they know I'm on YouTube, and I don't know why they haven't come over here and given me a heads up and seen if I started another page or what's going on, but I don't know. Maybe they will. Everybody's got their own lives going on. Some dude on the internet that disappears for a while, even if they did, talk to him on Zoom a few times and we build a connection, people get caught up in this world. I get it. And I'm not putting them down. I mean, look, we all do that, right? I mean, we don't have attention for everything. I mean, so anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.